child. And this goes to show where we are at as far as, could we say that is the cost of living? And sometimes maybe this is a child that was really I don't like using the term unwanted.
You see why people need to be careful with this cost of living, and why, I mean, when I hear people saying that you give me 2 years from now, you know, at one time, I think I described this thing as a Shakahola philosophy, because the whole idea about Shakahola is you suffer now because you are going to a better place. So we suffer now because in 2 years it will be better. Between those 2 years, count the people who may have committed suicide because of misery. Because the other day there was a mother who jumped in the sea together with the child in Mombasa, and she left a note saying that simply she couldn't maintain herself and her kid. Yeah, so I'm not surprised someone is trying to sell the child. If you now from today start tracking down suicides, start tracking down in broken families, okay, all that, you realize that this what they are trying to do in order to get the money from IMF is actually not worth it. Implementing the IMF policy is not worth it. Because I'm also looking, you look in the next 2 years, the number of Kenyans who will not be in the university, they will be staggering. Because and this is where also the university management in terms of even the union is totally useless. I don't even know why the lecturers are still in these unions in the university, because they shouldn't have challenged the staggering, the classification in court of students as rich, poor, very poor, because you see, you can't have rich or poor Kenyan children who need to access university education. You can't. The reason why you can't is there is even no law forcing me to pay for my child after 18 years. There's no law. So if you challenged that basic government policy in court and Article 27, because 27 we say we're equal before the law and we deserve equal benefit of the law. So if there is a Kenyan getting a full scholarship by the government, all the Kenyans in that category shouldn't be able to get full scholarship by the government.
Thank you. All right, I just wanted to come back on the issue, because now you started with the trial of a mother after trying to sell, then you went now to government.
So now I'm just explaining.
You just explained. But when we look at this particular story, because the issue, it's indicative of where the society is. Just the other day we saw a granny being charged, 85-year-old, together with the uncle and was it the mother, the child, Obiri, that his eyes were gouged out. Can you imagine your relatives, your mom or your uncle is there gouging out your eyes? I don't know if it's for any ritualistic, endeavor that they had with those eyes. But where is society really coming to? If your own mother can actually sell you out. First, is it fathers that who have abdicated their duties, that now the society is off kilter completely? Because they're supposed to be the people who are giving the true north. You as the father, you as a leader, if we started at home, then also in the society, that particular needle will point to the right direction. What is happening with us? Why would a mother do this? What will actually force a mother to sell the child?
Every organization is guided by a number of factors. The dynamics within the organization, certain influences external and internal, and also the behavior of the leadership of that organization. We have reduced our moral bar to so low that it is impossible to understand where we are going next. So this is a moral issue, at the same time economic issue, when it comes to the child and the mother jumping into the sea. But gouging of the eyes is the sadism that we have created in our society, where we don't care as long as it's not me suffering. We like inflicting pain to individuals other than ourselves, because you've had even police shooting their colleagues and committing suicide after that. It may not even be to do with any love triangle or anything like that. But why is it that we are so violent in trying to mitigate or to resolve conflicts? This is something that we need to look at as a people. So it's a bit societal, and therefore the leadership at every level should be careful on what values are we impacting on our people, on our people, because people copy from their leaders. If it is bad manners, they copy from the leaders. If it is violence, they copy from the leaders. If it is sadism, they copy from the leaders. And that is what you've been seeing.
Right. Yep. Could there be also the issue of organ harvesting? Because you never know. We picked up this as media. How many of the stories have actually gone and slid just very, very quietly of young children suffering? Some of the body parts being dismembered for ritualistic activities that we are not aware of. And maybe, Brian, we can pick your brains on because you have been in that particular space of also advocating for children's rights.
Actually, when I used to work for the Cradle, we were the ones who drafted the Counter-Trafficking in Persons Act. And I remember we had some clients who had walked in and their child was HIV positive, yet both parents were negative. So we conducted 3 different DNA tests to ascertain whether the parents were HIV positive, and all 3 different independent DNA tests actually came out that they were negative. So we asked ourselves, then how do you get a child that is HIV positive? So then we did a DNA test, the child and the parents, and it was totally negative. So we realized that basically what was happening in that hospital, they swapped babies.
They swapped babies?
Yes. So in this particular case, I'm actually reading. The mother said that she had a difficult pregnancy. When the father came home to ask where is the child, the mother said the child had been admitted in hospital. This particular case of
this case.
Yes. And so eventually the mother told the father that apparently the child died in hospital. So I can see they've been charged with trafficking of the child, I think, but we needed to dig deeper and find out the people who were purchasing this child, what was it for?
And the hospitals that are involved. That is a conduit.
It is always a ring and a racket. You remember the DARE cases where children were being trafficked to other countries, and it was a conduit. You'd have the hospital involved, there were brokers, immigration officers. So basically it is a problem.
Did you take any scruples even with the DARE's court case? It's been taking a glacial slowness over the years, then you come and drop it all of a sudden.
Actually, eventually he was acquitted.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. I mean, how was he acquitted? You as and the legal minds should actually tell us, well, there are no evidence that are sufficient for all that particular time, and you get acquittal at the end of the day, yet you've been embroiled, and there were cases, people come out,
you know,
when
DARE was being charged, I think he was charged either under the
previous
the Children's Act or the Penal Code. So then we did not have
excuse me, sorry,
a Counter-Trafficking in Persons Act, and I think that is where the problem was.
So in this particular case, if it was DARE's case and we are in the new dispensation of a new constitution, the law cannot be applied retrospectively. Is that the case?
Yeah, the law cannot be applied retrospectively. So the DARE case. So
if the case continues,
if he was charged under the Counter-Trafficking in Persons Act, he would have been found guilty. It's just that we didn't have the requisite legislation to charge DARE.
So can you appeal under the new?
No, you can't. The laws don't go back.
And if there's an unfair justice, you know, I know that's what you said. The law is an ass. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So if your case has been there, that you've been charged unfairly, maybe even convicted for murder, and evidence come out after, we've seen this happening after 20 or even 30 years, someone comes and say, he's not the one, actually I'm the one. My conscience has not been that good with me. I'm coming to reveal that I'm the person. That cannot be we've seen people getting convicted. So how does the issue of the law in this particular case, Martin, I'm looking at you, because now this is what you're going to teach at the Dexter University, maybe a case study as well.
You see the ball, and I'm sorry, I just arrived late, so that's why I've been holding myself back, because I wanted you to introduce me, but here I am. I didn't want to jump the way I wait to be introduced.
You're a man of decorum.
And protocol.
And order. No, man of decorum, why are you late? A good one. I can explain. And don't talk about decorum. Don't talk about traffic jam. No traffic jam. No traffic jam. You had the president saying, do not talk about traffic jam.
Yes. And
you need to leave early.
I'm the president, so I don't quote traffic. I'll give other reasons. But the point is, Libal, that law has a process. So once a due process has been followed, we all agree to subject ourselves to that due process. So even when you look at the case of Dare, for example, once he has gone through a process and he has appealed, and the court process again finds that he has no case to answer or there's no reason for him to be incarcerated, then he's released. So it's about procedural propriety and it's about following the law. So unless there was something that didn't work out well, we default or we defer to allowing the courts to have their say. And if you don't like what they're saying, you are free to appeal to the next court level and so on. So for example, if somebody feels like they may have been released unfairly, again, there is a place to go, whether it's the state or any other, interested party. Yeah. But that said, I think the issue we are dealing with is that we do have crimes. And crimes in this country take all sorts of, directions. So that you have children being, hurt or being assaulted by people who are supposed to be under their